What's going on, everyone? Happy Wednesday.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are
Two Crazy Ketos.
Yes, we are.
What are you doing?
It's pork shoulder day.
Can we have a thumbs up that you guys can hear us?
It's pork shoulder day.
Just let us know that you can hear
some
us.
Pork shoulder later.
Oh, I forgot. I got to get that off of the smoker.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we pause this now.
Okay. So, hey, how you doing? I'm Joe.
And I'm Rachel.
And we're Two Crazy Ketos. And here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. And we talk about various keto topics. And every Monday, we sit down on the couch for Keto on the Couch. We just kind of talk about what's going on in our lives for the week.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com. And that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week. So make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon. And that way, every single time we upload a new video, you'll be alerted to it.
So welcome to our Wednesday live stream with Bronson, who we're going to bring on in a minute. And
Yes.
we're starting week 2.
I'm so proud of everybody.
Everybody's doing awesome.
You're
I'm
nailing
excited
it.
to see people participating in both challenges, right? In the chopped challenge as well as in the fitness challenge.
I got such a case of the tickles this morning. Okay. So today was my number 3 workout day.
Right.
And so I see on there jumping jacks and jump rope.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't need to watch the video.
Why don't we bring Bronson
on that? Oh yeah, please. I should tell him. Like, hello.
Let's go ahead. Hello, Bronson. And you can tell Bronson.
Look at this handsome gentleman here. Well, so I thought, okay, jump rope. I've been jumping rope since elementary school. I don't need to have no stinking video on jump rope. But I thought
there's a difference between workout jump ropes and school jump ropes.
I realized, and here's the thing, he is so intuitive that he's actually in the video has it like, don't be doing it like this. And I almost want to think that he should be like, comma, Rachel, because that's exactly how I'm doing it. I'm in the garage going like Cinderella, dressed in yellow. I'm like, that's not it at all.
No, I can't jump rope, so don't feel bad. I have tried and tried and tried, but because of my ankle,
you're jumping jack.
Yeah, I can't really jump rope.
Now I want to watch that movie with Whoopi Goldberg.
We need to get you a really good jump.
Jumping jack,
like the one that Jump Paul had,
jack.
right? With the good cable. What was that one? He had Jump Paul. Our son, who's way into CrossFit, he built he's a whole CrossFit rig in his garage. What is the good one with the cable and everything?
What's the good one called?
The speed ropes.
Yeah, he's got like the one that's adjustable and you can put weights on it. And so
how is your week going, Bronson?
It's going fantastic. I'm absolutely loving how everybody's doing. I love seeing the food, the non-scale victories, the excitement, everything. Like, I want this to go on and on and on forever. And actually, that just brought something to my mind. Take the motivation and the stuff that you guys are getting out of this, guys, and it's not just for 4 weeks.
Yes.
This is 4 weeks. This is 4 weeks to kind of expose you to something new, but it doesn't stop at the end of the month. This is something you can learn from and keep doing. It's not just for 4 weeks.
It's funny you say that. So Rachel went up yesterday and went walking with our son John's wife. And again, they are way into CrossFit.
Our daughter-in-law.
She used to be a trainer. She was a CrossFit trainer, and she had moved over to one of the little local gyms and stuff. So they were talking, and she had said to Rachel, like, "So are you only doing this for a month?" And she's like, "No, you know what? I'm enjoying this, and I think I'm gonna keep doing it." I couldn't even believe she told me she said that to her.
Well, and here's the thing, because I did my workout in the morning. I like to do it first thing. I feel super accomplished and it's done and out of the way. I don't want to negotiate with it because I know that like I will get lazy or I will put other things before it. So I like to do it first thing. But then she called me up and was like, "Hey, you want to go on a 6-mile hike?" And I was like, "Oh man,
you already did 5."
Yeah, but I thought, yeah, I do. And I'm okay to do that. And I told her, I said, I feel so great that I don't have to pass on movement activity. If somebody's doing something, the kids want to do something, or somebody wants to go out, I don't have to say like, I'm too tired to do that, or I'm not going to be able to walk that far. I love that I get to participate in that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
that's what it's all about. It's awesome.
We last week we put on our NutriSense. We put it on. We showed it in that video, and I've seen some, it's funny because with NutriSense, they give you a dietitian for a month who is monitoring what you're doing and monitoring your glucose.
Like the
and
numbers.
it's really cool because they're telling you like, hey, this is what the data is showing. And it's funny because it's a nurse. And so the nurse, she like responded to me here. So the nurse is like telling you like, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for not to see, you know, like when you have a spike, we'd like to see it not go too high over your norm. And we'd like to see like it be back to below 150. Can I get rid of this? Or below 140 within 2 hours.
Yep.
And she's like, but yours never spikes up.
You're like,
so she's like, can you tell me like what's going on? So I'm like, well, I'm keto and I've been keto for 3 years. So I haven't had any sugar or wheat or any significant carbohydrates other than what may be in a few vegetables for 3 years. Yep. She's like, no wonder I'm not seeing any swings. But it's interesting. So my glucose runs a little bit higher than Rachel. Like I'm usually in the high 80s, low to mid 90s. But all throughout the day, you'll see I'm not eating or anything. And it gets up to like 102, 105, sometimes 110. But again, not eating or anything. And some people, if they were to prick just at that one given time, would be freaking out.
Right.
But it shows that like it's just your body creating glucose when it needs it. But one of the things that what we saw was interesting. My glucose is at the highest at night because I constantly toss and turn when I sleep.
That's interesting.
So she's like, we need to work on that because she was like, we're looking for a resting glucose, your fasting glucose to be at the lowest, right? Like usually when you're sleeping. And that's usually when I'm at the highest. Like right now, I'm checking, it's saying we just ate about, an hour ago. My glucose is 88 and it's been like in the mid 80s all day long. But at night, it's getting up to like around 3 in the morning, it goes up to about 110.
Have you ever done a sleep study?
No.
Or had anybody analyze your sleep? Do you have like a Fitbit or a kind of smartwatch?
Oh yeah, I mean, I have the Aura Ring and stuff like that. And what it is that I toss and turn because of like, my muscles hurt or my neck hurts or something like that.
What I'm finding is interesting is mine is going down when I'm exercising. Like it's almost calming me down. I think there's a whole like stress that is like being released.
Does it come up and then go down?
It is up in the morning and then it's down during that period when I'm like working out. And then after I'm done, it goes back up again, but not very significantly. Because that's the thing she said to me too. Like, you don't have giant swings.
Right. And it's interesting. Like at 2 in the morning, my blood glucose is 106, whereas the rest of the time it's in like the 80s and 90s. So what I've done now is for the last 2 or 3 days is I've not taken any magnesium. And I want to see if that impacts my glucose at night, taking magnesium, which should help you to sleep better.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Because electrolytes is a big thing while we're doing this, isn't it, Bronson?
Say that again.
Electrolytes is a big thing we need to be monitoring while we're on this, right?
Yes. And we're going to segue right into that conversation. There's been some discussion from people asking about being tired and kind of being like, I feel like I hit a wall. I've been doing this for a week now. The higher protein is making me tired. It is probably not the protein that's making you tired. There's 2 things, okay? Everybody get your notepads out. There's 2 things that I want you to consider, okay? One is when we talk about the fat that you need to have when you're doing your 1-to-1 ratio, whatever your number is. If your number is 150, then that is the maximum we want you to have for fuel every day. Now that there's a minimum of fat that I want you to get, which is 50 to 70 grams of fat. That doesn't mean I want you to go for 50 to 70 grams of fat and then keep your carbs at 25, okay? That's not even 100 total. You still got 50 or 60 grams to play with if your number is 150. It's okay to get up to your number in fat and carbs. If your carbs are 25, you take that out of the equation, whatever that difference is, it's okay to use that difference to get your fat in. Don't purposely take out fat. The idea is we're trying not to add fat. If you purposely take out fat, then you're going a little bit further than your body is ready for. And what I mean by that is this is completely non-scientific. This is a theory that I've been working on based off of my observations with many people. And that is there are multiple levels to adaptation. Okay. that the first thing that happens when people go keto is they cut out carbs and processed food, right? So they're not actually, and they're getting fat adapted because they've removed the carbs and they're adding fat. So you're getting fat adapted. Your body is learning how to burn fat, but it's mostly fat that you're taking in. So you eat something that's fat and your body burns for fuel. You're going to lose fat initially because you stopped putting in things in your body that are going to add to your fat. So it's not necessarily that you're in ketosis and you're burning body fat as much as you might think it is when you first get started. It's more about the removal of the carbs. And okay, next level of that is because there's processes and systems in the body. The next level of, I would say, keto adaptation would be teaching your body how to use body fat primarily as opposed to exogenous fat. That's where if you go high protein and then you cut your fat really low, you're going to hit a wall because your body is great at burning fat, but it's great at burning fat that you eat. It's not necessarily yet learned how to burn fat off your body as efficiently as it could.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we lost Bronson. So yeah, he'll get back in here in a second. There he is. He's coming right back here.
There he is.
There we go. I don't know what's going on with that. I turned off all the internet devices in my house too.
I know we've threatened the children with death. No playing video games.
So I'm glad you're bringing this up because I have seen a few people, and I don't say like we are not proponents of what Robert actually talks about once in a while of these like the old bro diet where you eat ridiculous protein and then no carbs and no body fat and no dietary fat. We are proponents of more of a 1-to-1 where your diet, if you looked at it calorically, you're at about 65 to 70% fat and like 25 to 35% protein. We're not advocating don't eat fat and be like in a protein sparing modified fast.
No,
Absolutely.
because
we're definitely not advocating that at all.
Okay. So we're raising our protein and we're raising our movement.
Right.
And those are the two variables that we're really trying to focus on this month.
Right. Yeah. So think about it as you're not removing fat, you're not adding fat anymore.
Right.
Right. So you don't have to think about lean cuts of meat and all this other kind of stuff and how lean can I go? That's not the target. It's get your protein in, whatever fat comes with it comes with it. Just try to keep it below that number. Right. That's just
somebody actually asked in a Facebook group that I noticed a comment yesterday and said, wait a second, why is Joe and Rachel buying 90-10 ground beef, whereas they used to buy 80-20? The reason we buy 90-10 ground beef is number one, we like the taste. We like the price of it. It's cheaper than the 80-20 at our local store. But also it allows us to have a little bit of fat somewhere else so that at the end of the day, everything equals out. Like when we make it, we want to put a little bit of butter in there. Plus, because we're not buying locally sourced grass-fed ground beef that's hormone-free, I'd rather buy something from the store that is leaner and add my own fat. So because most of the hormones and antibiotics that they feed these animals would be stored in the fat. Yeah. So ultimately, we're not going no fat. It's just I'd rather eat chicken breast because Rachel doesn't like chicken thighs anyway, and then add fats in other places, like putting a little bit of butter or a little bit of ghee, or maybe just a little bit of like some bison tallow or something like that.
Absolutely.
To cook it in.
Although I will say that chicken thigh day was pretty awesome.
Because you got to eat the skin.
Because I got to eat the skin in the air fryer. Have you been enjoying your air fryer, Bronson?
I just made some sausages in it tonight for dinner. I am so happy I bought this thing. Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
It's amazing what you can do with that little thing.
Yeah. And it's quick. You know, like I said in that video, I got home from work. I took some chicken breast. I covered it in some Redmond seasoned salt, stuck it in there 25 minutes, and then went and worked out. And then when I come back, it's ready to go. You know, and it literally took 2 minutes to prepare and just let it sit there. You don't have to do anything.
I actually came up with a phrase. I like ground beef granola. So what I do is I take a pan out and then I take the ground beef and I kind of loosely just break it into little clumps and spread it so it's kind of flat. So then when I take it out, it almost literally looks like a sheet of granola on the tray, but it's kind of like crispy on the top, but then it's kind of soft and it's amazing. It's awesome.
Why are we not we need to do that like tonight.
But I put a little bit of hot sauce and some salt on top. So good.
Okay, I do see a comment. So Blue Dove said at 1 to 1, it seems like my dinner is fooling me. I feel initially full, but I get hungry again before bedtime. And then if I eat again, I have issues because it's too close to bedtime.
If we have time, Blue Dove, how many times a day are you eating? Right?
Okay.
If you can eat a little bit earlier, right? And then try to maybe have a snack or something beforehand, or just there's got to be a different a way maybe in your schedule that you can kind of adjust that. And
somebody just said they want to know, how is it that you don't like chicken thighs?
I don't know. You know what? I think it's a little bit of what you grew up with too. And my mother loved the chicken thighs. And so it was like the kids get what mom and dad don't want, which is fair, right? Like they're paying for the meal. So like mom and dad would call dibs on the chicken thighs and with the legs. And then we got the boobs.
There's a comment here from Mary that said, so as a beginner, should we be adding fat liberally until fat adapted, but as time goes on, stick with fatty meat and a little butter on vegetables, adding less fat?
There's yes, no, whatever works best for you.
Okay.
Right. Again, there's no real, the only wrong way is the way that doesn't work for you. Right. So if that works for you and you feel like that's working and it's getting you to where you want to be, then keep doing that. If you get to a point where you're stuck and you're not seeing the progress that you want, then maybe you need to ask yourself, okay, should I keep adding butter to this? Should I keep, what do I need to change? So if that's how somebody wants to start, and if that's an easier way for them to make the change without feeling like they're depriving themselves right off the bat, then I think that's perfectly fine. It may not work long term.
Oh, we lost him again. While we're waiting for him to come back, Teresa said blat on chicken breast. There he is. We got to get you out of the Midwest and someplace where you get really good internet.
Teresa's in the know.
It's weird. I'm on the East Coast actually, and I feel like it's been fine. This is the first time we've had this problem.
Are you on the East Coast? I actually thought you were up like with Dr. Fit and Fabulous in that area.
No, I'm in Baltimore.
I did not know that.
Is that awesome?
So that's why I said when I want to come down and visit you guys, it's a lot. It's like bing, bang, boom.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's like 90 bucks to fly down there.
Twice. Let me put this one up here. So she eats twice, coffee with butter, cream, and protein powder, and then a dinner. I might snack on herring or pork rinds if I get hungry before dinner, but I'm trying not to snack.
I don't snack, just have another meal.
Yeah.
I would just say maybe close the distance between those two meals and try to get a second meal in that gives you enough time to be hungry again by dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And then see what happens with that. If you can't, if eating after dinner doesn't work, eat earlier in the morning, eat something a little bit later, and then eat something for dinner.
Okay.
That's good.
So you sent me, I forgot, I didn't get a chance, or I just got busy this week and didn't get a chance to message you back, but about your mom.
Possibly getting.
Did you speak to her?
I just talked to her. I just texted her. Hold on. Let's see if she's gotten back to me yet. I have a text. Let's see if it's her.
We'll see if people would be interested in that.
I think that would be so.
I'm
interested in it.
She says, "Fun. Need better lighting than the one that we did together."
Okay, so let's. When do you want to do that?
Oh, we can talk about it offline. I'm not sure. I'll have to see what her schedule is. And so she's a principal of a private school, a church school in the area. And they've been, obviously, the whole COVID stuff and everything that she's been dealing with. They went hybrid. So half of their students are in the classroom, half are at home doing this whole thing. They've had a bunch of teachers that have left. So she's like actually the principal, but she's also teaching classes and she's doing a bunch of stuff. So
I mean, this is because I love just seeing the interview that you had with her and the stamina that you need as a teacher. I don't care if it's your first day teaching, you're just out of college and you're young. I mean, the stamina it takes to just work and kind of navigate this season, it's got to be awesome just having some, increased energy because of what she's doing. And then also as you as her son, What does that do for you, just knowing that she's prioritizing her health like this?
It makes me feel a lot better about the things she's got to deal with, right? Her ability to handle stress and to handle the pressures that she's under, because there's also, without getting too much into it, there's also some legal stuff that happens. So her school is actually suing the state of Maryland right now. So
Wow.
there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, just legalities and politics and a bunch of other things. So she's in depositions with lawyers and all this other kind of stuff at the same time as all of this other stuff with COVID and everything is happening. And to know that she's been able to use fitness to help her cope, it's awesome for me to see that someone can do that, but then also to know that my mom is in a much better place because of fitness is in her life. It's awesome. It's absolutely.
We're living in a time of a lot of uncertainty, and it's nice to know that there is something that we can do. Like I can be certain that I get my exercise in and give myself my best possible shot of staying healthy and not like, giving into all of the stress and stuff too.
Yeah. So we have a question here. It says, I just found y'all this week. I'm a week behind. If I'm starting with the alternate workout because I'm super out of shape, how long should I do that before moving on to the main workouts?
When you feel like you're not challenged anymore, that's really, at some point, you're going to be like, okay, this isn't really doing anything for me. What's next? When you start thinking to yourself, what's next? I need more of a challenge. Try out something in the next level and kind of go from there. Try it out. There may be a period where the whole workout, you may not be ready for the whole workout, but there's a movement in there that you can do, right? So you do most of whatever, and maybe instead of doing the chair squats, you do an actual air squat without the chair, right? So just kind of look, and you can mix and match and kind of put things together. And then you always just ask, hey, what else can I do?
It's funny because doing the workouts, and I'm doing these plus adding in some of the stuff from your main like training program, and then also some other things that, because like there's certain things like from your main training program I can't do because I don't have certain kinds of equipment and that kind of stuff. So a lot of times I love Russian twists. I don't know why. I've always liked Russian twists.
Does it make you feel like Rocky when you're doing them?
Yeah. And so like even in the vlog video from yesterday, you'll see like at the end of it, like I always tack on like, 50 to 100 Russian twists.
And that's allowed.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I don't think there's any problem with adding on, right? So, but there's other things that I just really struggle with. Like, I will struggle. I have never been able to do a pull-up, no matter what. Even at my strongest, I've never been able to do pull-ups. So I'll try to work some other things. And it's okay to do, but what I'll do is, well, I still have a little bit of energy. What else can I do? I'll add on some Russian twists or add on a bunch of sit-ups and things like that. But it was interesting. I've never videoed myself before. And so even though we did it in time lapse instead of fast forward, I was watching myself do like, the shoulder taps and like, why is my butt all the way up in the air? Like that's not benefiting me at all. What am I doing?
Right.
So I was able to see that I was doing things incorrectly by doing that. So I mean, I know one of the reasons you see mirrors in gyms and things like that.
But it's really nice to have that reference point back to Bronson where I relook at the video and then look at myself, and that's something that people can do too. Like, we say, take pictures of yourself to see your progress, go ahead. We've all got like, if you've got an iPhone or an Android or whatever, flip the thing and video yourself. You don't have to put that on public display.
Right.
You can just video to just for you and to see what you're doing. And then also to see your progress as you're getting your posture correct. And I love that Bronson has added some different things like, okay, you can't do a pull-up all together. Don't just do it half butt. That's the Rachel way of like, well, I can't do a full, push-up. So I'm just going to like, do a crappy one. Like, don't do that. Do the thing that he's telling you as an alternative until you can do it right. And so my ultimate goal is to do a real pull up and a real push up, but his thing of bringing the ground up to you so that you're at least doing that correctly has felt very victorious. Cause I'm not like a half butt person. I'm not a crappy worker outer. Okay. Like I'm getting better, but.
Because it also gives you something that's the visual representation of your progress.
Yep.
As you start getting closer to the ground, you know, right? I'm getting better. I'm getting closer to the ground. I'm able to do more. So yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So Older Pennsylvanian said your mom is a complete inspiration. She's 68 and it helps to see someone more close to her age.
Absolutely. And it's funny because both my brother and I keep telling my mom that when she retires from the school system, the school, that she needs to become a fitness influencer.
Yeah.
And she's like, what are you talking? She's just like, you guys are crazy. I'm like, no, there's people that would love to hear your story.
Oh, absolutely. That is so correct because, and I mean, even for us, honestly, we did not connect until we met you with like the movement challenge and wanting to really do this. I mean, as we've said, our son and daughter-in-law are like way into it and we're like, nope, I do not resemble you. I kind of use the excuse of like, we're not the same age. Like, hey, well, if I had been, keto when I was in my 20s, then maybe I would be doing it. And that's kind of my like excuse to not ever work out again. Cause like,
Right.
oh, I passed that time. Well, you're wearing skinny jeans way past the appropriate time to wear them. So like now we can do this now, even though we're getting into the game a little late in life.
Yeah. And I mean, a year ago, Robert's like, when are you going to start working out more? And I'm like, you can't identify with me. You're half my age, but you inspired me because of your age. So sometimes, yeah, we need to see somebody a little bit.
So your mom is like, this is awesome. We have no excuses.
Yeah.
And there was just one here that I saw. I
looked at message. Shannon.
Vian's had been keto for 8 months because of this challenge. They're finally reaching their protein goals.
Yay. Good.
Yay.
I just sent you a message. Shannon had asked a question.
Here we go.
There we go.
Shannon said, Bronson, I know you have said we might gain weight, but I've lost 1.8 pounds and saw an ever so slight change in my body fat percentage and muscle mass. Do you think it's a fluke or can it be?
1.8 pounds isn't a lot from one measurement to worry about. You could do that. You could get on the scale tomorrow and it's only 1 pound.
Right.
So, and you could gain a pound or gain a half a pound back. So, once a week at the most, guys, is what I would recommend getting on a scale and doing a body composition. Ideally, I would just wait until the end of the 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Do one at the beginning, do one at the end.
Now, I do want to say it could, correct me if I'm wrong, Bronson, it depends on how much weight you have to lose. If you're somebody like me who is trying to lose 15 pounds, there's a lot more fluctuations. But if you've got 150 or 200 pounds to lose, there's a good chance you're going to drop some weight if you've never been moving and now all of a sudden you're moving.
Right. Yeah. Then it's the discussion of don't worry about the scale because you're probably gaining muscle and losing fat doesn't mean that everyone's always going to maintain or get heavier. There are some people, like you said, Joe, that are going to overall lose weight no matter what because they just have it to lose.
Right.
But that's why the percentages matter more than the weight.
So Carmen said, so definitely form is over quality is better until you get better.
Yes, form trumps everything. Okay, doing things properly is the #1 target. I don't care how heavy you go, how fast you go, or how complicated a movement you have. If you're not doing it properly, it's not doing you any good. It's actually doing
you could hurt yourself
because you could hurt yourself. What happens when you don't do things properly and you consistently do that? You are now training your body to always do it improperly.
Oh, that's good.
Right. So we don't want to reinforce bad habits. We want to reinforce good habits. And that goes with movement as well.
Right. Karen wants to know, what is a Russian twist?
You want to demonstrate, Joe? It's where you kind of get up into a half a sit-up position where you're not quite laying down, but you're not quite sitting up. Mm-hmm. And then you have a weight or something in your hands and you twist from side to side.
And your feet
usually
are
tapping the floor kind of on each side of you.
Yeah, and your feet are usually up off the ground. So it's kind of like, you're kind of like balancing on your back on your butt and you're just twisting back and forth, and it definitely gives your abs a workout.
Let me tell you, the hollow rocks and the Superman position, just like when you're just looking at it, looks like, well, that just seems like It's very
Silly.
easy. Like that Superman is what a baby would do. And then you try to do it and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel it all over.
Well, I'll tell you the one that I was making fun of when I watched it. I'm like, that is not possibly going to do anything, is the clams. The side laying clams.
Yeah.
Yeah. I cannot get my thighs to recover.
Yeah. It's before he sits down.
Like I was like the amount of like I can feel it. And I did not expect that. I'm like, what's the big deal? You're opening and closing your legs, you know?
It's a big deal.
You definitely feel it. And I was shocked by it. I mean, it's just like I was telling Rachel yesterday, when you do a proper push-up, everybody thinks push-ups are only like their arms and their shoulders, but if you're doing it properly, like you're going to feel it in your abs.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're doing a plank. I mean, you're doing a plank at the same time if you're doing it right.
Right. So
I wanted to,
Joey said 1.5 weeks into this, I'm fitting into my jeans and I only wore 10 pounds ago. I couldn't wear 10 pounds ago. So bizarre. Scale isn't moving, but my clothes are looser.
But I'm not complaining.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it's all about. Real quick, I wanted to add to the energy thing and people being tired.
Okay.
There's two things that I didn't ever talk about the second one. The first one is being fat adapted, and there's levels to that adaptation. The second one is the more protein that you're intaking and the more active you are, the more electrolytes you need to take. Right.
Okay.
So if you guys are doing the challenge and you're a week plus in and you're still taking the same amount of electrolytes that you took a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, you probably need to increase that a little bit. And you will see, even if you don't change your fat, there's a good chance you will see an energy improvement just doing that.
And that reminds me that if you go to yesterday's vlog, okay, so it says it's the one that says like, what is it, the title? Like day 1 of the No Joke Challenge. Redmond is giving away 3 different people electrolytes. So you can get your choice of any flavor of the tub of electrolytes or the individual stick. So all you have to do is go leave a comment on that video. We're going to pick a winner next week. And you'll get, 3 people are going to get that. Also, somebody had sent me a message and it was so funny. I was going to buy them and put it together. They wanted to know like, hey, I don't know what flavor of the Redmond electrolytes I would like. Do you think you could get a bunch of the sticks now that they have them in all the flavors and put together like packs of 5? And I was going to message Redmond. I was going to send her a text message like, hey, do you think you could do this? Like send me some and I'll do like a giveaway of like, 10 little bundles. They came out with it today. They announced it today. So if you want to try, and I did not message her, just like every night, right? So she's like, if you want to try it, you can go over there. We have a link down below. And for $10, you get one of every single flavor to try the different flavors.
Now, if you've ever like done exercise before, or we're doing walking or something before, the way we used to do stuff before we were aware of our need to increase electrolytes, you would just grab a bottle of water and go do your exercises or you go do your walk. If you do not add the electrolytes into your diet as well as the water, then all you're doing is going to be diluting the electrolytes that you have.
Yeah. Right. It's crazy, right? To think about it now. Like that's all I used to do is just drink water. Right.
Well, same here.
It's funny. I was officiating a game and the coach came up to me. He's like, do you need some water? I was like, no, I'm good right now. And he's like, you need to drink water. You're on a field. I'm like, I'm good. I'm replacing my life. I'm like, for me, it's not about water. It's about electrolytes. He's like, no, it's about water. I'm like, if I just drink water and never take any electrolytes, I will really have more of a problem when I'm on a 90-degree field, sweating everything out and losing everything.
Yeah.
So I did want to mention, I completely forgot. So we're going to have some giveaways throughout this whole 4 weeks from different companies. And today, if you go over leave a comment, not in the chat, but leave in the comment section down below. Next week, we're going to pick a winner. That Equip Protein is giving one person their choice of anything that they want. So any they can get one product. If you want a bag of protein or anything like that, all you have to do is comment down below and we're going to pick the winner next week. I saw another one while I'm waiting for that.
Shelby?
Oh, that's the exact one I was going to pull up.
Awesome.
So Shelby wanted to know, are you sticking to specific protein macros? And if so, what are they for muscle growth?
Okay. This is what we're kind of basing this whole thing on, Shelby. Hi, by the way. This is where the 1-to-1, if you've heard anybody in the group talking about the 1-to-1 ratio, that's what we're doing. So you want to get your lean body mass or your goal weight, and then that is your target for protein. It is okay to go over that target for your protein. So if your lean body mass is 150 pounds and you want to get a minimum of 150 pounds of 150, yeah, you got to eat 150 pounds of protein. 150 grams of protein. 150 grams of protein, and then if you go to 200, if you go to 250, whatever, that's fine. You can go over it on your protein. There's no such thing as too much protein.
Okay, I was just looking for that video to pull up for you. Somebody's that aren't here. So there was another one for you.
Okay.
Claire said, if your muscles are a little sore, don't you hold on to more water?
I don't know if I've ever heard that before. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where that comes from. I don't think it really matters if you're holding on to a little bit of water. Your body needs hydrate. You need to have water, right? It's a large percentage of our body. So as long as you're hydrated, yeah, I'm not sure if there's more behind that or what the kind of gist of that question is about.
Okay, so I did just put into the chat for anybody who maybe new wants to know more about what the one-to-one is. Our video where we started talking about one-to-one, and it's basically figuring out your macros. If you go to our website, up on the very top corner, you'll see Keto One-on-One, and if you bring that menu down, you will see a spot where it says figure out your macros, and that will help you there as well.
And also the workouts are there.
Yes. So yeah, Carolyn, let's go over ahead and show that real quick. So
go back real quick. Go back to the. Oh, you can show that real quick. While you're showing that, just had a connection of where that water question with sore muscles.
Okay.
If someone is starting to work out and they haven't been working out, and their muscles are now being used, and then they break down and repair and they're rebuilding, that kind of stuff. That process does increase water retention. So if they're feeling like they're maybe gaining weight or there may be something in the scale that they're looking at, I think that might be where that question is coming from, as far as a weight differential, because there's more water retention because they started working out when they haven't been before.
Right. Okay, so if you go to our website, and on our website, you go up here to Keto One-on-One, and we have like how to start keto, and you can click on that right there. That kind of talks about like everything about keto. And then if you go down to your macro calculator, this is here where you can figure out how to do your macros. And then also, if you go over here to our blog, for people who are looking for the workouts, you're going to find them right here on this page, the No Joke Challenge. And you click on either this here, the Apex Training System bodyweight exercise, or the alternate workout. Either one of those will give you workouts. So if you can't do what's on the first one, the alternate workouts are like things that are just like a little bit easier to do. So.
Yep.
Okay.
Jennifer tired after she eats her protein, after she eats. That happens sometimes, right? If you're getting more protein than you're used to getting, your body is actually doing a little bit extra work. It takes more energy to process protein than anything else. So you may have an initial slump, but usually it doesn't last too long and you pick back up and keep going.
Okay, so just to let you address this one more time, because I know you said it's been an issue that you've seen in the group.
Yeah.
So Ross wants to know, what is the minimum fat grams if your goal is 100 grams of protein?
140.
140.
Assuming you're doing what most people are saying, 25 grams of carbs, right? So then you got 115. Is that right? Is that right, math? 115
Yes.
grams of fat to work with. No more.
So she wants to know, what is the minimum amount she should be having?
The minimum, regardless of any number, is going to be anywhere from 50 to 70 grams of fat for most human beings.
Yeah.
Depending on if you talk to PSMF guys, they'll tell you that 25 to 30 grams or less of protein, but I don't recommend that for most people. So,
well, even Marie Emmerich,
70.
Even Marie Emmerich, who is way into protein sparing modified fast, does not have you drop that low in fat, except for every other day for a very short period of time.
Yeah.
So she does not advocate eating that like 20 or 30. I think that her program for like 7 days is like every other day you eat like 30 grams of fat, but then after that, the next day it bumps way back up. Because if you're not eating enough fat, you could start having some hormonal issues.
Right. You got to have something.
Feeling tired. You need, fat is what helps your body with clotting.
Thank you, Rachel Bartley, our lovely moderator, for putting Bronson's workout right there in the chat.
I was wondering who that was. Thank you, Rachel.
Yes. Okay. So Tanya wants to know, what is the most effective exercise to lose visceral fat around the waist? I think a lot of people think that if you and I know Rachel used to say that, if I do sit-ups, that's going to help get rid of the belly fat, right?
Because we have target areas in our mind that it's I want to handle that first. I don't even care. I need to take some junk out of this trunk.
Right.
Yeah. The most effective exercise to lose any fat is to combine good nutrition with good activity.
Well, that's good.
Right. Because you can't target where your body's putting or taking fat from. But you have to maintain the processes that are going to make your body pull fat from somewhere until it gets to where you want it to pull it from.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if this is the other one, it's very similar. She said, what protein macro should we say to be fat adapted but gain muscle? Just the one.
Yeah, I think that was a continuation. It's the same thing.
Let me know if you see another one. I'm trying to scroll down. You may be ahead of me.
Yeah, it's weird. On my side of the interface, I can't scroll down the.
Oh, okay.
I only can see them as they come in.
You sent me a picture.
Yes, I did.
I don't know who this guy is.
So let's go ahead and.
So we talked about this picture. This is the picture that changed my life. This is the picture that I was 38 years old, I think, in this picture. And my daughter took it. And we were at the beach, and I was like, "Whoa, wait a second!" I was just looking at her phone. I was like, "Wait, show me that picture again." And I had her send it to me, and I think I probably stared at this picture for a couple days.
Wow.
And I was just like, "There's no." I was just like, "No, that's not happening. This is not where I want to be."
It's funny that that's what you say that you stared at that picture. That's actually how I shaved my head. I somebody had taken a picture of me holding Anthony at SeaWorld, and he was like a year and a half
feeding the dolphins.
Over feeding the dolphins with him, and I saw that I had
you had lied in the front.
Here, but I never knew that because I had hair here,
yeah.
And I'm like, "Yep, time to shave my head."
This is telling you a story.
Of course, I didn't notice the 280-pound guy in that picture.
Just
the fact that I was going bald.
And I think too, it's just like anything. When you're potty training a kid, when they're ready, and you can try to make it happen, and you're just going to spin your wheels and be very frustrated because they're going to do it when they're ready to do it. And I think that it's the same thing for us. I am ready to do it. There's been plenty of times where people, the last several years, every time we've talked to Savage, he's like, "When are you going to start working out?" And it's like, one day. Right. But when you're ready, then I want to see you try to stop me from moving now that I'm ready to do it. So it's just what is it that's going to get you ready to do it?
Yeah.
So for most people, it's time. Tell Kelly that, yes, that's a good number. Go for 145.
Oh, okay.
145, Kelly, get it.
145.
Okay, so Carly's mama is asking, she may be the person who sent us the message on Facebook, who wanted to know about the Redmond sampler pack. Here is the link for the Redmond sampler pack. Okay. So I just put it up there, and if you use the code 2krazyketos, you will get 15% off of that sampler pack.
Chris is here. Hello, Chris. Hello, Miriam.
Yeah, tell Chris that joke was
he can hear you.
Are you talking about the April Fool's thing for Keto Chow?
Well, because at first I saw it, took me by surprise, because you said you can target fat loss, and then I read the rest of the thing. I was like, oh my gosh, Chris.
I thought he totally got me, because I saw it and I was like, well, why isn't he putting that flavor on sale this week? If there's an extreme weight loss,
don't you not know program, that Chris does that every year?
I know. It just got one thing. It was a great commercial, and that speaks volumes, right? Because it
reminded me of the 1980s infomercials at night.
Colon blow, you're gonna go to the bathroom before you're finished with this cereal.
Here's a good one from Jennifer. Said, does anybody feel tired after eating protein? It goes away, but ready for a nap after I eat my protein.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to a little earlier. When you first eat, it takes more energy for your body to process protein. So you may have an initial slump right after your meal, but it usually doesn't last very long, and you're good to go pretty
I
short.
will attest to that. So a lot of times the only break I take during the day is when it's time to eat. And so again, our first meal is until 3 or 4 o'clock. So a lot of times what we'll do is we don't have a big table in our house, and there's always cameras or other stuff on our kitchen counter. So Rachel and I will prepare dinner, and we will go into the bedroom, and we'll sit on the bed and watch TV and talk and eat. And I eat, and again, high protein, and I'm done. Now I sit back and we're going to finish watching whatever program. Usually it's somebody's YouTube video or something.
No.
And I'm out within 15 minutes, and I'm only out for like 5 or 10 minutes, but the entire time Rachel's like, I cannot believe you're going to sleep. But it's like that 10 minutes of like, yes. And then I'm like wide awake again. It's not those afternoon, like when you were eating carbs and you would eat at lunch and now you had like a 3-hour slump at work. It's not that. It's just like a 5 or 10 minutes. Like, I just want to rest. And of course I'm laying in bed, so I'm going to sleep.
I love how he says that we eat and then talk. Cause like, what talking? Like it's eat and pass out. And I talk to his face.
Okay. So Carolyn's got a question for you. If you're a woman and you can't do pull-ups, what can you replace them with?
All sorts of things based on what you have available. The most common thing that most people can get at home would be bands. And in the PDF, there's actually a video on how to use bands to simulate pull-ups. And I think you might have even done something in your video yesterday, Joe.
What I do is, because I had that available, you remember we're in Florida, so our garage doors are reinforced for hurricanes, so they can withstand the weight.
Don't try that with a paper door.
So what I do is I tie the bands, and that's what I do, because I don't have I'm thinking about making a rafter in the garage. But what I do is I tie them on that support, and then I do a lot of things with the bands there. I sit down on the ground and kind of do a pull-up, just to like exercising the same muscles. Also, I'll stand up and I'll do like a fly. Like I'll start here and kind of come out like that, because it's in a perfect position for me to start working some of these muscles.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So bands are the best way. There's some other stuff you can do if you have a pull-up bar available, but if you don't, bands are probably the best option.
So Carly said that she's using the ladder like you, and you are very inspiring. I got yelled at for as I was editing that video, I'm like, what is that? And she's like, well, he said that's how you can do a burpee.
Well,
and I'm like, a burpee.
Well, he had a bench, and then you could go back and forth and up, because I'm gonna need some clarification on what the heck I'm looking at right now with your like jumping.
You should have put it to music. It could have been like a dance. We could have had everybody.
It reminded me of that. If anybody's ever seen the Drop Dead Gorgeous movie with Kirstie Alley, and their thing is the painting, and they're sitting on the paint cans, and then like it's a funny movie.
Okay, so Kelly wanted to know, I'm 60, I'm 175 pounds, and my goal weight is 145. So my protein should be 145. Yes, you've got it. Perfect. You got it. You know what the problem is we've always been taught that proper nutrition and proper workout and proper ways to lose weight is difficult. And this is like really makes it, you have to look at it and be like, it can't be that simple, right?
Right.
I mean, it's the only way to get simpler is, and again, this is just a play on that of Dr. Berry's, we don't count anything and we eat till we're comfortably full so long as we're not eating carbohydrates.
Yeah.
The only thing we're doing here is saying this is how you're going to learn what's comfortably full.
Yes.
But it's the same premise, but you can't, I think it's for our minds, we're like, it can't be this easy.
Well, and it's okay that like, there'll be other things of confusion. There's all kinds of places in my life that's really hard.
Pick up a label of any keto product.
Or like my junk drawer in my kitchen, super complicated. This, we're going to be easy.
Our kids.
I also like the fact that it is your goal. So because usually you're thinking about an incremental thing. So like when I was 260, the goal was to get out of the 200s first, but instead we're going straight to where you want to be as far as the protein goes.
Yeah. And that's where the cool thing about understanding this one number is once you get to where you want to be, then it's easy to know where you are and how to maintain that. So if you have an idea, okay, So I want to lose weight. I'm going to go 1-to-1, I'm going to get my protein. I'm doing this much fat, whatever. I get to where I want to be. Then you can say, okay, if I maintain 1-to-1, do I maintain my weight? Do I maintain my body composition? Do I maintain my lean mass? Do I maintain my energy? Right? If not, then maybe I need more protein. Maybe I need less protein. Maybe I need more fat. Maybe I need less fat, right? You can play around with the numbers until you find a sweet spot. Maybe for me, I know that I feel best at about 225 grams of protein and about 150 grams of fat. That's where I feel fantastic. If I go less than 150, I start feeling fatigued, right? If I go higher, then I start feeling soft and mushy, and I don't like that.
But that's so like simple. I love that. And there's not a lot of, sometimes we, not only do we feel overwhelmed by how complicated it is, but sometimes, you just get lost in the numbers and you don't know where to tweak. Like, I know that I need to turn a dial somewhere, but what dial? So it's nice knowing that one thing stays the same and you're just using that gauge because my carbohydrates are staying the same. And my protein is staying the same. And then it's just dialing into what is going to satiate you without like stalling your weight loss to the point where you're like, okay, I don't want to grind out.
Yeah, and you're not worried about percentages and calories and converting calories into grams, and then it just forget all that.
Okay, so I saw a couple of good questions here for you. First one is from Lula, said stomach cramps. How can I make it better, or is it just going to pass as my body adjusts?
That it depends on what kind of cramps and what's causing them. That's a hard one. If you're having stomach cramps,
I'm having some stomach cramps, but they're muscle cramps because I'm not used to doing the amount of core exercises that we're doing right now.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Like, it depends on what kind of cramps. If it's cramps because of something you're eating and it's like a digestion, what's the word I'm looking for? Gut kind of thing where your stomach is like, I'm not happy right now. That could be very different than if it's a muscular, your ab muscles are cramping, which could be something as simple as electrolytes or, doing something to kind of take a break for a day. I don't know.
Yeah. So I saw Chris put the link for the Redmonds. Like, if you want to try the 5-pack again with our affiliate link. Thank you, Chris. But I think you still have to tack on our coupon code if you want a discount. Yeah, we don't do anything without a discount. Amy wants to know, would you add more weight or more reps?
Both. Not knowing what the goal is, I would expect that.
Well, say for this challenge, if we're just trying to increase a little bit of lean muscle.
Yeah, it's always better. So I did a video on this recently about how to build muscle and the different ways of building muscle. So when you add reps, you build muscle differently than when you add weight. Right. So there's actually 2 different ways to build muscle. And without getting too much into it, I'll just do a little quick summary. Okay. If you think of your muscles can be built like a cart of houses, or muscles can be built like Lincoln logs. Okay. So when you add reps, what you're doing is you're building your house like or building your muscles like a house of cards, where every rep you do adds another card to the stack. So it just makes it bigger. Doesn't necessarily make it stronger, it just makes it bigger. But because it is bigger, it can kind of hold a little bit more than if it didn't have as many cards. If that makes sense. When you add weight, what you're doing is you're adding density and you're adding actual tensile strength to the fibers and the muscles you already have. So you're taking and you're putting logs in place instead of adding a bunch of little cards, if that makes any sense. So in adding weight, you're building density and strength of the fiber that your muscles are made of. In doing reps, you're adding size and stability to the fibers that your muscles are made of. So one makes your muscles bigger and a little bit stronger. One makes your muscles stronger, but not necessarily bigger.
I feel like when we started out this challenge, my muscle composition was Jell-O, and now we're at Play-Doh. And I think that's a major success.
Clay is next. Clay is next. And then
this is awesome.
Right? It's great. So I would say do both. Honestly, like, if you want to do one workout, do more reps, see how you feel. The next workout, do more weight, see how you feel. and kind of to gauge it. Chances are going heavier is probably going to do more for you, though.
Okay, so here's a good question. So Debbie wants to know, how do folks get motivated when they work long hours and they're alone? I get frustrated and tired after 12, 14, 16 hours of working that I have no motivation for anything other than walking. I can tell you what I do. Maybe you have a good suggestion. Before I'm getting work, because believe me, I am definitely somebody. One of the things I liked about CrossFit when I would go to CrossFit is there were other people there to motivate me. Yeah. And Rachel was always like, I literally was paying $80 a month to have other people push me. That was one of the nice things about it. But when I stopped doing that, like, it is hard for me to get motivated, and especially because I work out at a different time than Rachel. So what I do is about an hour before, so maybe you could do this on your way home from work or something, start playing some workout music in the car, something that's going to kind of get your blood flowing. Like, if I go out into the garage and I have no music, I'm like, when is this going to be over? But if I play some kind of upbeat tempo music, it kind of helps me keep going. So maybe if you start that ahead of time, it'll kind of put you in that mood. Do you have any suggestions, Bronson?
I think there's a few things. One, somebody had commented, I think it's a great idea if you can find a buddy and hop on Zoom together, right? Yeah. Hop on Zoom with somebody and do it with them, right? Even if they're not doing this challenge, they may not even be in this group, but just find a friend who's willing to support you and say, look, I just need someone to watch me and be there to make sure that I do it, right? So you set the time up and just have that schedule there. Another thing is with the community that you guys have, it's awesome. And I know it's something that my mom talks about, and a lot of the people that I have in my program, they feed off of being able to share their experience with other people in the group. So being able to talk about how you feel in the workout. What did you do? What did you do? I don't know. I did this. How did you do it? Like, start talking about what you're doing. And then you start having some accountability, because then people are expecting you to share, right? If you're not participating in that communication and sharing of the experience, then they feel like they're missing something because they want to hear how you're doing too, right? And it's also good for you to talk about how you're doing.
It is. It really is. And honestly, sometimes when I'm just feeling like a little bit like, oh, do I want to keep, do it today? I will go into the Facebook family group and just start reading. Just start reading people who are putting themselves first. They're starting to have like success in certain areas. They're doing something that they couldn't do before. And honestly, I just feed off of like, wow, like, they're trying, they're doing it. Sometimes they'll say, hey, this was the challenge that I had, but I got it in. So then that motivates me too, where I'm like, okay, I may be alone doing my workout at 5 o'clock in the morning, but I'm not alone, because I can reference back to what's going on in the group and see people's progress pictures and be like, okay, I don't want to be the only one that's in our group that's, not doing it. Doing it, taking it seriously. Like, so, okay, get out there, Rachel, and do it. And that's a big motivator. Right. In addition to just like slasher rock music.
Well, okay, so I saw one here, and this is from Peggy. So Peggy wants to know, if you're in weight loss mode, is the scale going to eventually start moving down?
Most possibly, and most likely, depending on how much you have to lose. But I would really challenge you, Peggy, to not worry about losing weight and just focus for the next 3 weeks on improving your lean mass, because that is what's going to set you up for long-term success. Anybody can lose weight. It's really easy. Just stop eating, right? Mm-hmm. But that doesn't help you get healthy. And we want you to be healthy. When you're healthy, your weight will normalize to what a healthy weight should be.
We lost him. So
and
while
he's surprised.
Yeah. So while we're waiting for Bronson to come back on, there he is. He gets back on quick.
He's awesome.
You get on quick.
I'm just sitting here.
So
I know when it's going to happen, because you guys freeze and then it's like, okay, give it a second.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say is, I know it's hard, and believe me, this is something that I struggle with. Yeah. But weight doesn't mean much. Okay, because see this guy right here? This guy in this picture weighs more than Bronson and I. And Bronson looks amazing, okay? But Bronson doesn't look like that. And I certainly don't look like that. So again, The Rock weighs more than me, but I don't look like The Rock. So it comes down to like, what are your goals? I would rather be 260 pounds and look like The Rock than be 200 pounds and look like the way I look now.
Well, and the other thing is, a lot of times you have your goal weight in mind based on like, something that you had usually when you were a child.
Mhm.
Like usually, like I could say, all right, I starved myself down for senior prom and this was the weight that I should get at. But this is, we're almost, I hate to say, like 30 years away from that time in my life. Like, first of all, I didn't do healthy things to get to that weight. And I was a child. And now I've had children now. And so things have shifted. And, you can't, that number in your mind may not be the number where you look best and feel best.
Mhm.
And we might have to get, like we talked about on Keto on the Couch, I'm having to work through what I think is attractive, because you kind of freeze framed in high school, like what is a girl supposed to, look like? And my mom said that it resonated with her too, because she's like, when I had my freeze frame of like, what should be a gorgeous woman, it was like Twiggy. Same with me. It was like heroin chic, right? Same thing for when I was, in high school, and it was like Fiona Apple. There's where I'm supposed to be trying to like work out and eat so that I can look like that. Well, there's zero chance I'm going to look like that.
You look better.
Well, thank you. But like, I have to get out of my mind that is where I'm going to look attractive, and start getting into my mind, like what a healthy look may look like. And it may be different than my thoughts.
Yeah. And that's, I think that's a big part of it. I want to add to it that looking at a number on a scale, because of the dynamic of that number not really meaning much, you're setting yourself up for a mental battle. The more you look at the weight on the scale, you are literally putting yourself in a position to struggle, because that number is going to fluctuate and that number is going to mean different things. The problem is you're not going to know what it means because you're only looking at the number.
Right.
So
and
you're setting yourself up for frustration.
And it's the same thing for clothes, because maybe like in high school, you wore a size 10. Well, as fashion changes, it's not, a 10 isn't the same as it used to be, and it'll be different moving forward. So like, don't get so hard nosed. Like I tried on my mom's wedding dress not very long ago, and it was a size 12 wedding dress, and I could not get my butt in it. And I was like, wow, like, am I like a bad person? Well, it's just sizes are different. So again, if you're like, I want to get back to when I was in high school and I was in a size 4, well, that may have been a different size and also cut at the time.
Yeah.
Thank goodness, no more parachute pants. It's a victory, really.
Okay, so Zoe said she gets bloated for a short while after protein, but the next day she feels great.
Okay. I don't think I've heard of people getting bloated before. That could just be a feeling of feeling full. I'm not sure. Yeah. And that goes kind of to a lot of people. I know it's something that I struggled with is, understanding what full feels like. Okay. And I think bloated is definitely a word that I would use when I was first going through this. Like bloated is definitely a word I would have used to describe how I felt after eating a lot of food at sometimes. So yeah, maybe that's, and again, if you're feeling fine later, then I really wouldn't worry about it too much, unless you're having some kind of other reaction or, constipation or actual gas, or I don't even know what else would come with that. But it might not be bloating as much as it is just you're learning what full feels like.
Yeah.
That's just a guess on my part.
Blue Dove wants to know if you can use hand weights for any of the moves instead of bands.
Sure.
Like
Yeah,
dumbbells.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Shauna's worried about the bands snapping and hitting her.
I'm thinking of different movements. If you're using bands that are in good shape, unless there's a defect in the band, I don't see that happening. If that is definitely a fear that you have and you just don't want to do something because you're afraid of that, then don't do any of the movements where you feel like the band may be coming at your face or something like that.
Yeah.
But
So
I've seen a band snap maybe twice in 8 years. And you kind of expected them to snap. That's the kind of shape they were in. So it wasn't a surprise.
So Jessica said, I don't have anything sturdy to anchor the bands on. I may have to have my husband build something. A lot of, and maybe you can help us with this, Bronson, but a lot of the exercises, you don't even need anything to really anchor to. You can stand on them. You can stretch them across.
Right.
Yep.
So what are some different things you can do if you don't have, he'll be right back, anything to, you can anchor them on a door. I'd say, there he is. So what are some different things that we can do, Bronson, if you don't have something to tie them down? Like, what are some different exercises? I know, like, you can Google a lot of band exercises.
Yeah. There's most of the exercises in the program we're doing right now don't require an anchor, just the ones where you're doing it for pulling. And even if you're doing that, I could probably come up with a modification where you just stand on the band and do something instead. It's called a banded bent over row. But basically you stand on the band, you bend over it, and you just pull the band up to you. Instead of you pulling down, you bend over and pull it to you. But I can probably make a video on that if we need to.
So Chris actually put up, can you explain how to use a closed door as an anchor? I was just saying it as you came back on. How can you use a closed door?
Yeah, on my YouTube channel, I have a video. If you go to my YouTube channel and you type in, hold on, I got to do it myself because I don't remember what I called it. Improvised door anchor, maybe. I thought Chris had linked it in the thing. Yeah, Chris just linked it in the chat.
He's already linked it. Awesome.
Oh, I like what Karen is saying. What do you use to ease sore muscles while you're recovering to recover more quickly?
Well, Rachel makes me give her a massage, but
yes,
I think that's fair.
Absolutely, massage is great. I think the most common thing that's accessible to everyone is a foam roller.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Those
so
things,
I have a whole bunch
fantastic.
of stuff. I have a whole bunch of foam roller options on my YouTube channel. So if you just go to my YouTube and type foam, it'll come up with a bunch of different videos on how to use a foam roller. But a foam roller is fantastic. It's what's called, man, Chris is on top of things, isn't he?
Chris is awesome. Carolyn actually said magnesium gives her stomach cramps. Try using a different type of magnesium.
Okay.
That's so, maybe switch off of magnesium citrate and try so it could be where we're sourcing it. Cause some magnesiums are going to make you have more bathroom pyrotechnics than others.
Yes, it will.
Yeah. I would definitely try maybe the keto chow magnesium.
Yeah. So what, I totally forgot what I was saying. Oh, foam rolling. It's called myofascial release, and it's basically giving yourself a deep tissue massage. So I highly recommend everybody get a foam roller and learn how to do that.
Yeah, it's
salts.
really good.
Yeah, Epsom salts is a great way to go too. I know a lot of people that do that. Cold, and you guys are gonna hate me for this. Really, really, really cold baths is good as well.
That's frightening.
So Mary said, so this was the question earlier when she was asking like more reps or more weight. She's going for stronger. So she started with 3 pounds weight. She's up to 10 and ready to go to 15.
Get it. I love it. As long as your form looks good and you feel like you're safe doing the movements, then go for it.
Ooh, Shelby's asking, do you work out fasted?
I do not. You know what? I take that back. It depends on the day. I don't do it intentionally. But there are times based on my schedule, my sweet spot for working out right now, because I'm working from home and I'm kind of doing whatever I want to as far as schedule goes. My sweet spot for working out is like 1 or 2 o'clock to 3 or 4. So somewhere in that 1 to 4 o'clock window. I usually have my first meal around 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock. So I usually have something an hour to 2 hours before I work out. There have been times where I've woken up and been like, it's not hungry, so I'll just go work out and then eat something when I get back. Or where I know that I have an appointment or I have a client or have something else during my normal workout time, so I have to work out at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock instead. So then I definitely won't eat because I don't like eating that early usually. And then I'll just eat afterwards. So I don't do it on purpose. It just happens sometimes.
So Miriam's got a good point here because I think a lot of people think the other way because we've all been taught fat's going to satiate you, right? She said she's noticed that when I have higher protein, I feel full and it lasts forever. I don't get hungry. That is satisfying.
That's what it's all about. The idea that fat is satiating is not as accurate as it could be. It is hard to eat a lot of fat because there are signals in our body that just won't let you eat. Like it's what's the word what's the phrase when you talk about your palate gets overloaded and you like just can't take any more of one thing. I forget what that phrase is, but you're basically your body's just like I'm done eating this. Like I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
But it's not because you're
the threshold of this ingredient.
Yeah, it's like it's not necessarily because you're full. It's just your brain is like, I'm done. I've got enough. Because your body will. It's really crazy, guys, how your body will tell you when you've had enough of something.
Mm-hmm.
So protein, on the other hand, it's not the same kind of signal. It's actually the satiation hormone, which I want to say, I always forget which ones are which. I think that's ghrelin is the satiation hormone. Correct me if I'm wrong if anybody looks that up. But that hormone is what's actually telling you you are full, you've gotten enough nutrients, and that's what protein does. Protein, it stimulates that. So when you get enough of that, you are actually full and you will be full for longer. But because you're eating protein, you're not getting as much fuel.
Yeah. Okay, so well, that's the wrong question. That was the wrong one. It was Sherry's question. Sherry said, Bronson, would you up your carbs or your fats for athletes? So now we're in cyclical keto.
It depends on the athletes, what they're doing. But usually I don't do carbs for anybody. Right. I am a firm believer that most athletes, unless you're a world-class, and honestly, unless you're a world-class endurance athlete, because I know some keto adapted world-class athletes who, when it comes to race time, they still do some carbs for specific reasons. Mm-hmm. But even then, 85-90% of their training and 85-90% of their life is still keto. I don't have I have not seen anything, whether it be in science or studies or practical, clinical, my own experience in anywhere that says that athletes need carbs. Haven't seen it.
And it's funny. So if you really want to see a debate on it, I know that Robert has a podcast where he was talking to Danny Vega. So two big people who in the keto universe who are both pretty big athletes and really into weightlifting. Danny uses carbs in certain cases, but again, people think about carbs. We're talking about healthy carbs. We're not talking about potato chips and sugar and candy and cake. Yeah. He's eating sweet potatoes and different types of like healthy vegetables to give him a little bit of energy. Whereas Robert achieves the same thing without carbs.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's again, what are you trying to accomplish? Are you on the level of athlete that those two gentlemen are?
Yeah. Then we start thinking about it maybe.
Right. And just something to put that into reference. Thank you, Sherry, for correcting me. I knew it was something. I always get ghrelin.
Yeah, I mess them up too.
Get them mixed up. So just for reference, both my mom and I do CrossFit. Okay. My mom is carnivore. I'm carnivore. Okay. We don't eat carbs. It's not, we don't even like my average carb intake is 15 grams or less, mostly because of the amount of eggs that I eat. That's where all my carbs come from. And I eat about 15 eggs a day. So I pretty much get all my carbs from my eggs. I ranked for my age group, 44 to 49 is the age group division that I'm in. I was in the top 20% of the world.
Wow.
Okay. My mom in her age group, 65 plus, was in the top 22% of the world. So when you talk about athletic performance, that's not world class necessarily, right? World class, you go to the next level and actually compete against other people at a really elite level. You're talking top 5 or 10%. But to be able to say that I'm performing better than 80% of the other people that do CrossFit in the world without carbs is a statement.
And you haven't been doing it as long as some of those people have been doing it.
Yeah, and I'm also 40, almost 49 years old.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So it's like I look at like our son who is 24 years old and has been doing CrossFit for 4 years.
Right.
You know, there's a big difference if you started at 20 and you're 49 as opposed to somebody who started just, you know, a few years ago.
Right. Right. So yeah, I don't think carbs are that's a soapbox of mine. So we don't want to go too deep into that one, I guess.
I think that we've got most of the questions here. So Chris is putting up the bathtub being installed for some reason.
What an awesome looking tub, Chris.
Somebody asked, I guess.
Maybe if you have, well, and you know, that is a good point. Like reminds me, because I was talking about this with our daughter-in-law yesterday, where she was saying that when you're working out, a lot of times in the past, like your mindset is a certain amount of right doing in exercise allows a certain amount of equal wrongdoing in our food. And she's like, that is never going to get you to your health goals.
Right.
Because at the most you're hoping for, hopefully, fingers crossed, and we all know that it doesn't work in the long term anyway. All you're gonna do is stay the same. That's if you're lucky. Right. So you're working out to do something bad. So she was talking about how when we do need to celebrate that we're sticking with this every day this month and we're getting our exercises in. And what can you do as a reward to yourself for sticking with it? It's not that after you're done, you know, doing your exercises that you're going to go in and eat a bunch of extra carbs that you hadn't put into your meal plan. Instead, could you buy yourself a shirt? Could you take a bath? Allow yourself that time to like relax. You know, what are some things that you suggest to reward yourself for the right behavior?
Right. This Autumn is on from Watch Autumn Keto.
Hey, Autumn.
So Sherry had said that's the person who had asked the question about the carbs before. She is basically a competitive dancer. She dances about 4 hours a day.
Wow, that is awesome.
That is her level of working out.
That's incredible.
I still think it comes down to like how you feel, correct?
Yeah, I think it comes down to if it's working for you. Like I'm not going to say any carbs or no carbs are wrong. I don't think that we need them. And I think our body is perfectly capable of working in what we call the glycolytic phase without having to eat carbs. Many people feel like they need it and they work better with it. So go for it. If it's not causing you harm, then if it's working for you, who am I to go into your life and say you're doing something wrong? Like, go for it. Have a blast.
So we did have one more here that I noticed. Holly said, I've tried carnivore before, but for some reason I feel more hungry eating that way. Is that unusual?
No, if you're not eating enough. And that's chances are you're just not eating enough. So eat more. If you're hungry, eat. If you're eating mostly meat, then I would challenge you to eat more than is good for you, because it's not going to happen.
Autumn said she was catching up on our latest vlog. You guys are beasting the workouts and eat the meat.
Well, I was very inspired by Autumn. That was, you know, that helped too, where she was doing, you know, the 75 hard challenge. And I mean, I really do think that challenges really help. Yes. Like, I mean, it wasn't like you couldn't exercise before, but there's something about doing it as a community and feeling like, okay, I'm accountable to myself and to others. Like when I say I'm a part of this, then I have to follow through with it.
Right.
Sometimes we need that.
Well, I think that is all the comments. Do you have any suggestions for week 2, going into week 2, Bronson?
No, just take what we talked about. Just a reminder, you don't have to really trim your fat to super low levels. Okay. You've got a number, play within that number. Okay. If you feel like you need more energy, then add a little more fat. Just stay.
And with that,
that's not his final thoughts yet. He's coming back. He's coming back. There he is.
Hey, you lost me. Where did it cut me off?
Say it again.
Yeah, just say
I'll just say it again. Okay. So just a reminder, don't cut your fat really low, right? You've got a number, so play within that number. Just don't go above it. And then as you increase your protein, as you increase your activity level, make sure you probably need to increase your electrolytes as well. So if you're feeling like you're hitting a wall energy-wise, those are probably the 2 things that you can increase to kind of get through that.
Awesome. And again, just a reminder for electrolytes, if you go to yesterday's vlog, you leave a comment, 3 people are going to get some electrolytes from Redmond. And if you leave a comment, not in the chat, but a comment on this video, next week, we're going to give away to one winner their choice of any one product from Equip Nutrition. So you can get some protein powder or something like that. Also, next week, we will have a sale from them. They're going to sponsor next week for the Smart Sleep. So that'll be next week with Equip. So. Well, Bronson, we appreciate you joining us today. Awesome. It's been
absolutely
awesome.
Guys.
So we're going to go pull off the smoker some pork butt.
Or shoulder.
Or pork shoulder. That's it. I had a whole giant thing out there. So.
You can have, yeah. I think we do have butt later in the month.
Yeah, we have pork butt. We have brisket coming up. So dust it off that smoker.
Do you want me to see if my mom wants to just come on next
that would be
night?
Awesome.
Yes.
That would be awesome. Are you guys going to be together or do you want to do it as a 3-person?
We can figure out whatever works. I'll find out from her if it works in her schedule or not.
Okay, sounds good.
So
that would
excited.
be great. That next week we can have a view from her, who is a true inspiration.
A real yes. Oh my gracious. So let's stick with it. And then tomorrow there are shenanigans.
Tomorrow's our
8:30.
8:30 p.m. for our regular weekly live stream.
And I would love it if everybody could share their workout mixtape song requests, because I do want to expand my playlist.
Okay. So over in the Facebook group.
Something that's going faster than ABBA.
Okay. Have a good week, guys.
We love you guys.
Bye.
See you guys.